understand, Alex, that this road is on the National Register of Historic Places. Why is that?
That's true. This road is the original coast highway to downtown San Diego. It originally was a dirt road, went from Del Mar all the way down to La Jolla and beyond, and that was 1910. In 1915 it was paved, so you see a pavement here that dates back to 1915. This is the original material. And because of this road, because of the access, it has a direct relationship to the building of the lodge.
Let's go over to the lodge and take a look at that.
All right.
Now, why did they put the Torrey Pines Lodge on this location here? What was so special?
Well, going back to 1922, there was absolutely nothing here except dirt on a plateau.
Wait a minute, these trees were not here
No,
then.
these trees are not here.
But they were out on the trail, out
Correct.
on the
These
bluffs.
are trees that Guy Fleming, who Ellen Scripps told the city that he would look after both sections of the park, the city park and property that she owned and trust for the city of San Diego.
Gotcha.
Now Fleming, as a naturalist, gathered seed, and I would say it's a safe bet to say that these trees were personally propagated by Fleming over where he had his cabin where the current Fleming house is. So part of the design that was emphasized by Ralph Cornell, by Theodore Payne, and reinforced by Guy Fleming was that the setting was supposed to reinforce the building's aesthetics. And the decision was because this area, you know, excuse the ocean, looks like the American Southwest with the sandstone, the eroded cliffs, the canyons.
Now, Requa and Jackson, you said, designed and built the property. Who is this Richard Requa?
Richard Requa, he was a San Diego architect. He'd worked with another architect, Frank Mead, prior to him going into business for himself and having another partner, Jackson, Mr. Herbert Jackson. And he had studied Pueblo-style architecture. He studied Spanish colonial. He studied Middle Eastern architecture, Mediterranean architecture. He was fully versed in what was called that period revival architecture, which was a fad from about 1910 all the way to the beginning of World War II.
Wow. Now, I understand that this is all adobe block.
Correct.
Where was it created? Where was it mixed?
Well, there's photographs showing this entire area covered with adobe blocks drying in the sun.
So there's tens of thousands of adobe blocks in here.
At least.
That's amazing, a lot of work.
And
It's just a magnificent building.
It is.
And that's all adobe bricks.
That's all adobe brick. And when we go meet Ione, she'll give us more detail about the construction and the design.
Great, let's go on inside.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Alex.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome to the lodge.
Thank you.
This is a wonderful example of Pueblo Revival architecture. We've got the undulating parapet tops. We've got the large rusticated wooden beams. These smaller beams would have been wood vigas that actually would have projected from the face of the building. We've got the ziggurat-shaped column tops, the full round posts, the massive walls, a beehive fireplace, and even an olla on top of the chimney. So one of my favorite last features of the architecture design is the ladder that's situated up on top of the roof, as if someone really needed to climb up onto the roof and scamper across the roof to get across to the next dwelling unit, like they would in a real Pueblo. This is an adobe building, although it's unique in that a traditional adobe building would have been built out of 100% adobe mud. This building being built in the 1920s, they knew of the miracle of concrete, and they decided to use concrete as the mortar between the adobe blocks. The problem with that is that concrete and adobe do not mix well. So that leads to cracks, which lead to moisture intrusion problems, all of which are things we have to resolve. Let's go ahead and take a look at some details inside.
That sounds great.
And here we have the wonderful beehive fireplace that I mentioned outside. This is classic Pueblo shape. The inside, we have our heavy wooden beams with the bark still on them. They were creosote soaked by the direction of the architect to preserve them. And this heavy stucco finish with the swirls in it is a classic detail that Requa often used in his residential work.
How is this place used? What did they actually want people to do when they were up here?
Well, when you drove by and you came in the parking lot, you'd park outside, you walk in here, and there'd be sort of like a cafe set up. There's a kitchen. You could order lunch for $1. You could have. They were well known for their pies. I mean, people came here just for the pies.
So they kept the Indian motif going?
Correct. There were Pueblo-style Navajo blankets. There was pottery.
And really, the person who should get all the credit for what we have here today, both the lodge and the reserve, is Ellen Browning Scripps. She was the patron saint of the Torrey Pine itself. And this building here, she paid for. She put on city land and gave it to the city of San Diego. And eventually, she purchased all the land to the north of us here, including parts of the lagoon, so that Torrey Pines was a complete entity, not just the trees themselves. She did live to be 96 years old. She did make the front cover of Time magazine, and she's probably considered one of the greatest philanthropists in American history.
Correct, that's true.